So you want to put that screen up when you start recording, please?
Yep. Okay, we're recording now.
Hello, hi, everybody. We're recording here. We're having a little bit of issues with Facebook Live, so we're going to record it and put it on after the meeting tonight. I want to welcome everybody to HFUU Speaker Music Series here, August 5th, 2020. Appreciate all the effort that's gone into making this happen tonight. Thank you, Vincent Kimura, Drake Weinart, our Membership and Communications Chair. Also, thank you to Charles Tresidder, who's here tonight with us, our local mycologist here on Maui, and also our good friend and Mahi'i brother, Paul Isaac, who's going to be playing music tonight. So we're really fortunate to have these heavyweights do this tonight, and it's so exciting. You know, it's just such a great thing that when conscious people are you know, doing conscious efforts in the environment and through our social networking, through music and poetry and yoga and soil health and, you know, all the things that go along with living a healthy lifestyle. So I really appreciate that we're all on this spaceship together, and HFUU is committed to bringing educational outreach to the community in ways that no other farming organization is doing here in the islands. And because we're associated with National Farmers Union, and we're a chartered chapter of the National Farmers Union, that reach goes out nationally, and we have a wonderful the respect shown to our organization at a national level is very heartening. And I'm the chair of the Regenerative Agriculture Local Food Committee at national level, and so all of our educational outreach that we do here in Hawaii is able to then spread out across the nation to other chapters, and it's a wonderful thing. People they're amazed at what goes on here in Hawaii. So it's really incumbent upon us to show up as the leaders as we are, and it's folks like you that are members that really make our organization do as well as we do. So Vince, could you put up that one slide for our convention so I could show people what we got in the conduit so far in the tank? Our convention is November 13th, 14th, and 15th. As you can see on the slide here, Paul Stamets on the right, world known for his movie Fantastic Fungi and all the work that he's done around mushrooms. What a beautiful picture that is of him. And then Joel Salatin, who is an amazing farmer on the East Coast, well sought out presenter, are both committed to speaking at our convention, November 13th and 15th. And then Micah Nelson, whose dad is Willie Nelson, and Lucas Nelson, his brother, they're going to be providing all the music and all our special guests, hopefully Neil Young and Paul Simon, but we'll see how that all plays out. Micah's in charge of the music, so I'm just going to throw it over to him. Micah is also going to be the 19th of this next series. Micah with Professor Woody Majors is going to be doing the next speaker series. And Woody's in Norway, and they're doing amazing sustainable work in Norway, feeding a population of people. You can see that greenhouse in the picture there that just spans, looks like for miles. So we're really excited about what all this represents for the community through HFUU. And again, thank you so much for your support along the way. So without further ado, I want to turn it over to our brother and our Mahi'i brother, our farmer brother, Paul Isaac there in Waimanalo. Him and his partner, Kelly, are just amazing leaders in their area and their community. They have Yogarden, they have people come in. Paul, you can speak about that a few minutes if you like, about what you're doing there. I appreciate letting everybody know, and take it away, brother.
Yeah, mahalo, Vince. It's always a pleasure to connect with you guys, even if it's via the Zoom. I love seeing what everybody's up to, hearing about it. Looking forward to hearing about mycelium, Charles. But yeah, I'm in the backroads of the Waimanalo, and through this whole time, it's really been a focused time, like Vince was saying, the importance, the awareness of food being very much so a value in this time, and the realization that our communities are having, and the potency that we've stepped into the roles that we have during this time to help educate others along the way. And I feel like that's with music and with farming. I'm always learning. Thank goodness that we're always learning, and we can connect with each other. What is this thing that's happening to this plant? Like, I love how we have this network. That's why HFUU has always just been such a warm embrace of friendship, but also people who are really diving into their land and their work with the Aina, so that we can learn from each other. So here at Yogarden, my focus has always been yoga, gardening, and music. Create that diversity. But those three things have always allowed me to focus in, because my mind can be a little in the clouds sometimes. The visions get big, but we need that grounding. So yeah, the music and I feel the yoga and the farming, they weave so well together. So I'm always honored to share some music with you guys. Got a few new tunes that I want to share. So I might start with this new one. This one's called Live as One, remembering the diversity and the importance of everything that we're facing, and how we show up. Hey. I sing with a deeper meaning, one that brings peaceful feeling, reminding people round the world we can live as one, yeah. I sing with the moon and sun, come sing with the land and ocean, with all of creation sing, we can live as one, yeah. So let the song we sing be it to take us higher, and let the love we bring come with one desire, live as one, yeah, with all of creation, live as one amongst all nations, yeah, yeah. We got one earth circling around the sun, but we gotta come together if we're gonna live as one. We got the tools and supplies that we need, the water, the air, and the land that we'll feed. Internal flame, blood in my veins, cycles of life, it's one and the same. I see you, I feel you, got to believe that this energy will reach you, but no one can get left behind. New earth, one love will shine, and we gotta see racial equality. Diversity will be the cornerstones that will build up our humanity. And we gotta see gender equality. No pushback or judgment or disrespect, come be who you're meant to be. It's time we make a stand with those people been suppressed for far too long. And it's time we make some love for those cultures been suppressed for far too long. And put it in your song so the world can sing along. Yeah, we can come together any kind of weather. Gotta make a change, it's time to sing. And let the song we sing be it to take us higher. And let the love we bring come with one desire, live as one, yeah, with all of creation, live as one, yeah, amongst all nations, yeah, yeah, with all nations, live as one, yeah, next generation will live as one, yeah. If this generation can learn to live as one, oh, next generation will live as one, yeah. If this generation can learn to live as one, yeah. Next generation will live as one, yeah. If this generation can learn to live as one, yeah. Learn to live as one, yes we must learn to live as one. Everyone, learn to live as one. Underneath the sun, learn to live as one. Yes, friends, learning from each other along the way. And then this is another new one that's been coming through actually for the last couple years, but it's funny how they take their time. And everybody's been going through their own unique journey with what we're all facing. And sometimes all you can do is send prayers to each other, and there's a potency in that energetic exchange of just sending positive energy to somebody. And I've been really thinking about that. And this song came forth called Send a Prayer. So much happening, no words can describe how I feel inside. No matter faith or religion, no matter what you believe in, we all need this prayer. We all need this prayer. No matter race or color, it's time we help one another. We all need this prayer. We all need this prayer. Send it far and wide. Let them know that love is still alive. We all need this prayer. We all need this prayer. 'Cause love is alive. Trust this love inside. Send a prayer, everyone that needs it. In a time only love can breathe it. Send a prayer, everyone that needs it. Love is alive. Trust this love inside. Send a prayer, everyone that needs it. In a time only love can greet it. Send a prayer to everyone that needs it. Love is alive. Trust this love inside. Now is the time in this revolution. Trust yourself, you're part of the solution. Hate, greed, and fear won't stand in our way. We got the vision now. This is why I pray. Do unto others as you want done unto you. Heal the pain, let your peace of mind shine through. Bridge the gap, yeah, bridge the divide. Focus now with love on the inside. With love on the inside. Love is alive, trust this love inside. Send a prayer, everyone that needs it. In the time, only love can greet it. Send a prayer, everyone that needs it. Love is alive, trust this love inside. Send a prayer, everyone that needs it. In the time, only love can greet it. Send a prayer, everyone that needs it. Love is alive, trust this love inside. Send it far and wide, yeah, yeah, yeah. We all need this prayer. We all need this prayer, everyone everywhere. We all need this prayer. We all need this prayer. We all need this prayer. That's right, we all need this prayer. Send it far and wide, all need this prayer. We all need this prayer. We all need this prayer.
Yeah, baby. Wow, that's wonderful, Paul. Beautiful, beautiful. Everybody, Paul, we want you to do another one, yeah? But I wanted to let everybody know that Paul Izak Music on Facebook. Yeah, Paul? Is that your site, Paul Izak Music?
Paul Izak Music, IZAK. And
Izak, right.
I'm too, and you can see what I'm up to on the farm and the music.
Yeah, dude. Good one, Paul.
I had a chance to do a high sessions. I don't know if you guys have ever seen the high sessions, but it had the ko'olaus as the backdrop. That's going to be up on YouTube. They bring a whole sound crew and video crew. So looking forward. That song, Send a Prayer, is going to be on that one. But because I'm coming to you guys from Waimanalo, the Ko'olau mountain backdrop, this song called Ko'olau. a little mashup of a few of my songs on this one. Oh, when the sun hits the Ko'olau mountain, the blue sky, eternal fountain. Ko'olau mountain, grateful to be living island style. Yeah, when the sun hits the Ko'olau mountain, the blue sky, eternal fountain. Yeah, when the sun hits the Ko'olau mountain, I'm grateful to be living island style. That's right. Well, I'm gonna roll down the mountain, jump in the water, laugh with the sisters alike. That's right. Live with the meaning, giving and receiving, telling my brothers it's alright to bask in the glory of creation. Hey, for this is all we know, to live without hesitation. Yes, you give and then you got it, let it go. Whoa. Ooh, yeah, yeah. Ooh, yeah, yeah. Ooh, yeah, ooh, yeah, yeah. Tell you what though, but don't you ever, ever break it down. Oh no. This kind of loving sound you spread around, spread this good love around, yeah. And once you give, you've got, my friends, you'll find, come to find that, yes, yeah. And once you got this love and hope, you never get left behind. Oh, no way. Yeah, yeah. A little change up here, oh, for medicine. Let food be thy medicine. Planted consciously, tended gratefully, 'cause I'm a farmer in the backroads, yeah. I know the story already been told, and it will be told again by the youngin' who's listening. So listen in, child, let food be thy medicine. Oh, planted consciously and tended gratefully, let food be thy medicine. Oh, yes, planted consciously and tended gratefully, truly a miracle, watching the garden grow. Don't need no chemical, use EM and IMO, truly a miracle, watching the garden grow. Don't need no chemical, I use EM and IMO. I'm a farmer in the back roads, yeah. I know the story already been told, and it will be told again by the youngin' who's listening. So listen in, child. Yeah, yeah, nah. Oh, nah, 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 yes, yeah. Oh, to the Ko'olau mountain range, yeah. 'Cause I'm grateful to be living island style. So when the sun hits the Ko'olau mountain, the blue sky, eternal fountain. Yeah, when the sun hits the Ko'olau mountain, I'm grateful to be living island style. Yes, I am grateful to be living island style. Yes, I am grateful to be living island style. Yes, I am grateful to be living island style.
Yeah, baby.
This island style.
Beautiful, Paulie. Beautiful, brother. Thank you so much, man. That was wonderful. Jamming with Paul Izak. Hey, Paul. So that high session,
Yeah,
was that on that beautiful lanai they have? Is that where you played with the
totally.
cool
The
house
one
in the
I did
background?
before was in a house, but this specific one had the backdrop with the Ko'olaus. Yeah, it was beautiful.
Beautiful, beautiful,
Mhm.
wonderful. Well, thank you, Paul. So Paul's going to be coming back after Charles's presentation, everybody. So hang in there, and Paul, and I'm sure you'll enjoy Charles. And I'm sorry about everybody with Facebook Live, but we'll get this. This is being recorded so we can put it up on Facebook Live. I'm getting a number of texts from people going, "Hey, Facebook's not working," you know. So unfortunately, that's the case. But we'll get that taken care of here. I just wanted to let everybody know who has just come on since the beginning. Our convention, Vincent, could you post that again, please? So Vincent Kimura just posted our page that shows our annual convention. It's going to come up November 13th through 15th. It's going to be a virtual convention. It's going to be online, but we're going to have this all pre-recorded in a way that we won't have any technical problems. And then we are going to have live Q&A though with these gentlemen. Paul Stamets, you all know from Fantastic Fungi. We showed that his movie at this year's convention in the 2019's convention. We showed it there, and then Joel Salatin from the East Coast, who's widely known and well respected, and both of these guys are high-powered, inspiring presenters. So we're really fortunate that they signed on to present at our convention this year. I'm working on getting Dr. Elaine Ingham in here, and we'll have a number of other people, and we'll have workshops on Friday, longer workshops, and then on Saturday we'll have short presentations with Q&A. We'll have VIP rooms for people who want to get to ask these guys specific questions and stuff, and be part of their longer workshops. And so we're really excited about it, but it's going to be pretty much a free online event for folks to attend, except for the VIP sessions. And then Micah Nelson and his family is putting together the music, because we want to weave, like we're doing with this speaker series, weave the music into the educational outreach, because it truly translates well in our ability to just feel the spirit of what Aloha Aina and Malama Aina represents in our how we grow our food and how we're in relationship with the environment. And so we're really honored and excited that Micah Nelson's going to take this on and put together some really high-powered folks to play some music for us. And so that's happening then. And then the next speaker series is going to be August 19th, 2 weeks from tonight. And we have Micah Nelson's going to be playing that music, and also Woody from Norway, Woody Myers from Norway. You can see in this
From
picture.
Holland.
Oh, I'm sorry, from Holland. Excuse me. Look at this greenhouse in this picture. Just amazing. Looks like it goes on for miles. They're doing some amazing work. This tiny country feeds the world. So we'll be hearing from Woody. So tell all your family and friends to tune in 2 weeks from tonight for this presentation too. And we're going to have every other week from here on in to the convention, we're going to have these speaker and music series. So please consider it a matter of course for every other Wednesday, okay, at 6:30, tune in. I want to especially thank Vincent Kimura, our Waimanalo president and interim membership chair, for setting this all up. Vincent, you do such a good job with this. I really appreciate it. And Drake Weinert, Eric Weinert of the Orange Hat here, who's an IMO foe like me. And Drake is our communications chair, and between him and Vince, we're really getting quite a tandem to get our word out. You know, there's a lot of folks that aren't getting our newsletter, and I think it's going into their spam folders. So we got to do something about that to make sure people get the word out, because we got like 3,000 people in our database. And
happy censoring the union, man. We got to get the word out.
Yeah, there you go, baby. And so, you know, we want to make sure that everybody knows the good work that we're doing. Our leaders that are on the call here, you know, at HFUU, we have wonderful programs within our organization. The Farm Apprentice Mentoring Program that happens here on Maui. And we have, we're going into our 6th cohort coming up. And then we have the Ku'ia project on Maui too, which is restoring the breadfruit forest over Lahaina side. Kaipo Kekona, our Lahaina president, is running that program there. And then we have Steve London, Puna, with the Puna chapter, doing his educational outreach series to plant aloha classes. And I can go on and on. We have 13 chapters across the state, and really a wonderful thing. We just got done a strategic planning at Starseed Ranch in Kohala, our Kohala president, Dash Kerr, who is Hip Agriculture, hosted us at his ranch there, Starseed Ranch, which is the former property of Kenny Loggins, and this beautiful property. We had our strategic planning there several weeks ago, and so this organization's committed to truly bringing about the whole concept of regenerative agriculture to the community in a way that shows that we can grow our food healthy, and we can grow our soil healthy in the process. So because we understand that, you know, healthy food creates healthy people making healthy decisions, and that's what we're about. And we really appreciate all your support along the way. And again, thanks to all our leadership that's on this call tonight, and really appreciate you all. We meet so much, and so dedicated these folks are to HFUU being a force for agriculture here in Hawaii that represents the community in a way that the community wants agriculture to be. So you hang in there with us, we'll continue on. You know, not only are we 13 chapters across the islands, but we're also a statewide organization and a national organization, because we're chartered with National Farmers Union. And as I shared earlier, I'm the chair of the Regenerative Agriculture Local Food Committee on that national level. So we're able to bring forward all these things that we're doing here in Hawaii to a national level, and they really appreciate all that we're doing. And then I just got put in as on the Board of Agriculture. I just sent in my oath of office, and so I've been representing Hawaii Farmers Union United on the Board of Agriculture, and really appreciate sitting with the folks I sit with on that board. And so we're looking to do some provocative things moving forward, especially now that we know tourism isn't all that it's been cracked up to be as far as supporting our island economy. And it's going to come back at some point, I'm sure, at all that infrastructure that's here. But agriculture is now, you know, it's time for agriculture to be given the just due that it deserves to truly support a healthy local economy with healthy local food. So we're committed in that light, and I just would say to you folks, please just hang in there with whatever you're doing. All the best to you and your family. As Mike and Nelson would say, you know, stay positive and test negative, and we'll get through this, and know that HFUU is here and will continue to be here through your support. So mahalo nui. I want to turn it over now to a mycologist here on Maui, who is a dear friend of mine. I really appreciate the work that Charles does. He gave a wonderful presentation at our convention in 2019 here on Maui. And Charles, I share with our community tonight all your knowledge, please, around the mycelial world, and take it away, man.
Hi, everybody. My name is Charles Tresidder, and I live here on beautiful Maui, and I grow mushrooms. And there's a big need for Hawaiians to grow mushrooms, people who live on Hawaii and in Hawaii to grow mushrooms. There's a huge market for it, and this presentation is just meant to be an exploration on that. But before I start, I really want to thank Paul Isaac. You know, it's really beautiful that you farm, you're a yoga teacher, and you're a wonderful musician, and just that multi-talented approach is just really inspiring. Vincent, you're the man for organizing all this, and Vincent Mina, you're pretty okay too. And yeah, well, let's just jump into the PowerPoint. Let's share the screen. Boom. All right. So, Mushrooms on Hawaii by me, Charles Tresidder. So, there's a book I found, Mushrooms of Hawaii, an Identification Guide, and in it you can find over 230 species of Hawaiian mushrooms. Now, not all the mushrooms that grow in Hawaii are inside of here, but a lot of the most recognizable ones are inside of here. And if you want to learn more about mushrooms growing wild in Hawaii, I would highly recommend this book by Don E. Hames. Now, an overview I want to talk about food sovereignty. I want to talk about my transition from vacation to vocation, and the economics of mushroom imports to the state of Hawaii, the economics of production, goals for the future with respect to mushroom production, the challenges for those goals, and then I'll open myself up to the Q&A. But first, everybody, I want to thank the Hawaii Farmers Union for hosting this talk, for all of you watching now live and all of those who are watching this later streaming. The Hawaii Farmers Union is doing so much to bring food production on Hawaii to the forefront into people's minds. And like Vincent Mina said, it's more important now than ever for us to be really focusing on food production, because there's, you know, the economy here has really scaled back. We're at 38% unemployment on Maui, and there's such opportunity for food production. Hawaii used to produce all of its own food, and then people started moving in, you know, from other lands, and then we started exporting food to other places, and then tourists started coming, and then we started importing a lot of food. Now Hawaii imports like 95% of its own food, but it's and we need to reverse that trend and be sovereign in our own food production. And it's from the efforts of the Hawaii Farmers Union that it's really bringing awareness to this initiative and making it possible through networking and resources. So sign up, become a member today, and you know, give it away as a gift if you can. And pay attention and log in for our online Farmers Union conference coming November 13th through the 15th with Joel Salatin and my hero, Paul Stamets, who we're going to see a little bit more of later. So I came to Maui 3 years ago on a lark, on vacation. I was in between jobs and what am I going to do with myself? And I, to save money, I got a place where I could cook to rent, an Airbnb, a authorized vacation rental. And I noticed the price of mushrooms was way higher than what it was in Madison, Wisconsin, where I came from. So I, started shopping around, and here's a photo of some mushrooms that were available at Mana Foods, a local food co-op in Paia in Maui. And there's not many of them, and they're not that good looking, and they're really expensive. You can buy good quality oyster mushrooms for $4.50 a pound in Madison, Wisconsin. You can buy good quality shiitake mushrooms for $8 a pound in Madison, Wisconsin. And here it's $14.99 a pound at Mana Foods, which is like one of the cheaper places to buy fresh produce. Here we have a price list from Whole Foods. Oyster mushrooms are $11.99 a pound. And once again, you can go to the co-op in Madison, Wisconsin, get them for $4.50 a pound. So I saw this price disparity, and I thought, if people can grow mushrooms that cheap in Madison and make a profit, why can't we do it in, on Maui or in Hawaii? In Madison, Wisconsin, they've got winter. You can't produce something year round without having to pay a lot for heating and cooling. Whereas in the various microclimates of, Maui or anywhere around Hawaii, there's small temperature gradients in the different zones, and you'd be able to produce mushrooms inside of like those little sweet spots, those Goldilocks zones where the humidity's right and the temperature's right year round. That's a wonderful thing about living in Hawaii, is that You can grow year round and the temperature doesn't vary that much. And for mushrooms, that's perfect. So take a look at these mushrooms. $11.99 for stepped on looking oyster mushrooms at Whole Foods. Whole Foods, where pretty much everything is as expensive as it's going to get. $11.99 a pound for these. And in Madison, Wisconsin, they're always much higher quality. I saw this and I thought, this is an opportunity. I can do better than this. I had some experience growing mushrooms in Wisconsin. My uncle was a science teacher. He raised me. We grew mushrooms when I was a kid. It was so much fun. I felt so proud of the experience. And it's actually pretty easy once you get down to it. And I'm not going to describe too much how I grow mushrooms or how you can grow mushrooms. There's much better YouTube videos out there explaining that, but I'm just here talking to you today about the opportunity for farmers to grow here, now, on Hawaii and in Hawaii, and like how much is being imported, how much money is being lost and sent off island. So vacation to vocation. In order to, make enough money to live, you have to have income, and then you have to subtract your expenses, and then you have your profit, and that profit is what you live off of. With the mushrooms, there's some income, there's some expenses, but you also need to have like some gadgetry and gizmos for the growing of the mushrooms. When I first moved to Maui, I began working for a distribution company. And from that company, I stole this price list we have here. And this is the distributor price. This is the price that he, as a distributor, would sell to grocery stores, to restaurants, and to individuals at farmers markets. Yes, he was selling at farmers markets imported mushrooms. That's how much of a need we have of it locally. And I continued to collect information through this position by going to the Hawaii Department of Agriculture at the airport and asking them how many pounds of mushrooms were imported every week. I found out that 500 pounds every week of shiitake mushrooms are imported to Maui at $6 a pound to the distributor. And then he would mark up the price and then sell it to grocery stores, restaurants, farmers markets. Oyster mushrooms. Maui imports 500 pounds a week at about $4.50 a pound from the mainland, and then it's marked up and then sold to, grocery stores, restaurants, and such. King oysters, around 500 pounds a week, are brought in from the Big Island, from Hamakua mushrooms, which we will see a little bit more of later, for about $8 a pound. But recently they increased their price to $9 a pound, I believe. And buttons and portobellos are imported around 2,000 pounds a week from the mainland at around $2.50 or $3.50 a pound, depending on variety, from the mainland. And so that's a lot of imports just to Maui. That's a lot of income potential lost every week to the mainland that we could be investing here now. But is it profitable to even produce and sell in competition with those mainland prices? Well, let's just take a look. What does it take to grow mushrooms? Just absolute brass tacks. The expenses are the substrate or the mushroom food, which is sawdust or straw, bran, mineral supplements, water. The containers, which we can use, bags, buckets, shelves, incubators, boxes. And when I say, then heat, which is used for sterilization or pasteurization, gas, propane, electricity, and then rent, unless you own your property, in which case you probably have a mortgage. And then the wages, either what you pay yourself or pay your employees. And where does the income come in? It comes in from the different markets. Farmers markets, where you get the best price per pound. Wholesale, we would probably get like the worst price per pound. Groceries, where you get a decent price per pound. Restaurants is somewhere in between wholesale and groceries. And so I took the numbers that I compiled from the Hawaii Department of Agriculture and from working for the distributor, and I figured out, well, how much is it going to cost per pound to produce each one of these mushrooms? Which, in these, all of these mushrooms are the ones that are imported from the mainland. I wanted to focus on producing the sorts of mushrooms that I could grow really easily. So that'd be the shiitake, the oyster mushrooms, maitake, and a few other gourmet saprophytic mushrooms, that being mushrooms that really like decomposing wood. For example, shiitake. Here's a great example of a mushroom that could be very profitable to grow here on the islands. And I want to draw attention that here I've got one of my shiitake blocks, which I produce. I sell it. If you want to buy this from me, I sell it for $20 a block. But this block will end up producing about, if you sell it, all the mushrooms wholesale, about $12 worth of mushrooms. But at the farmer's market, you'll get probably like $30 worth of mushrooms out of it, if that gets 2 pounds of mushrooms. So in this example, we do a breakdown on the cost of production and the income potential from just one shiitake block. Shiitake is the second most popular mushroom consumed in the world, and it is also the second highest import next to buttons and portobello mushrooms to Hawaii. So the cost of production for a 10-pound block like what I have here is around $3 per each block just in materials. It's about $1 in actual handling time if you're paying yourself a wage. And once it gets to the time of like picking it, packing it, selling it, and distributing it, that's another $1 a pound. So each block, each 10-pound block in an optimal environment, here's the block again, will yield about 2 pounds of fresh mushrooms. That's in an optimal environment. Sold to distributor at mainland prices, that's $6 a pound. But if you sell at a farmer's market, you can get $16 a pound. But we'll go for the most conservative estimate here. $6 a pound from each block yields 2 pounds. So 2 times 6 is $12 gross. And your costs are $7. That's $3 for the block, $1 for the time, $1 for the packing and selling, and let's throw in $2 for rent, and that comes out to about $3.50 a pound in your net income per block per pound, or $7 per block. The demand on the island is 500 pounds a week for the island of Maui. So that's around $1,500 a week in income, less rent. And the demand on all islands is 5,000 pounds a week. And I'll show you how I got that number, or $15,000 a week less shipping and rent, because you have to send it to the other islands. But you can charge more than what the mainland producers are selling them for, because there's a premium on mushrooms. There's a premium on local stuff. Hamakua mushrooms charges a $3 premium per pound above imported king oyster mushrooms. Small Kine Farm charges a $3 a pound premium above imported portobello mushrooms, just because it's produced here. For a cost example, take a look at Whole Foods. Whole Foods is probably the most expensive place that you as a consumer can go and buy mushrooms in the market. So here we have their portobello mushrooms on sale for $11.99 a pound. Once again, Whole Foods is the most expensive place to buy, produce on the islands, probably. And the product of USA imported portobello mushrooms are $11.99 a pound. Small Kind Farm, located in beautiful Waimanalo on Oahu, thank you, charges $14 a pound when you order it from their website. But I mentioned a $3 a pound premium, but I guess there's like a $2 a pound premium on their from their website. But for wholesale purchases, it's a $3 a pound premium above the imported mushrooms with wholesale numbers. But as far as like purchasing from them directly, it's a $2 a pound premium above, like, say, wholesale, above Whole Foods prices. So it can be profitable to grow mushrooms locally, even when in competition with mainland prices, which I showed earlier with the shiitake mushrooms. But you can charge more for locally produced mushrooms because imported mushrooms have a shorter shelf life. By the time they get here, they've been picked, they've been gone through one distributor, possibly through a secondary distributor. They've gone on an airplane, they've flown over here. They had to be picked over by the Hawaii Department of Agriculture. There's a lot of handling, there's a lot of time. So the time between picking and by the time it actually gets to the distributor who ends up selling it and distributing it is around 4 days. And mushrooms have a very short shelf life. Oysters and shiitake mushrooms have a shelf life of 1 to 2 weeks, which is not very much. And every time they're handled, they degrade and the quality, goes down. And so the quality is poor and you want to support your local farmer. So that's why you can charge more for locally produced mushrooms. They look better. And here's a great example of how they look so much better. So what do all three of these images have in common? We got, on the left, we've got some oyster mushrooms from Whole Foods. On the right, we've got some oyster mushrooms imported from the mainland that we found at Mana Foods. And then over here, we got a poop emoji. Now, all three of these images have something in common. They look kind of gross, not something you'd want to incorporate into your food. But over here, ooh, wow, look at that fresh bouquet of oyster mushrooms, courtesy of Lapa'au Farm. They grew this off of straw that was just picked. The photo was taken hours ago. By the time it would get to they have a CSA program. They have farmers market. They sell to grocery stores and restaurants. Right now we're selling and producing more than we ever have before, but we still can't keep up with demand. There's so much opportunity out there, guys, because the quality is better and people want to support local. Here's another great picture. There's a handsome man behind those oyster mushrooms. You can't see it because the mushrooms are just so brilliant and gorgeous and tasty looking. Now let's talk about gadgets. How is it possible to grow mushrooms? You need to have a few things. First and foremost, you need to go to the Hawaii Department of Agriculture, Plant Industry Division, go to the import program and sign up and get your permit to import cultures. A lot of the mushrooms that you're going to be growing do grow wild here on and in Hawaii, but the strains and the varieties that grow naturally, natively, aren't the most productive yielders. So in order to get those, you're going to want to get your import permit. And the import permit looks a little something like this. I got my first import permit from the Hawaii Department of Agriculture for field and forest products out of Peshtigo, Wisconsin, which is very close to where I grew up. Now, some mushrooms that grow wild here in Hawaii, there are you are not on the approved import list, and that's because the Hawaii Department of Agriculture has not updated their import permit list since 2002, and that's something that, you know, in the future, that's a challenge that we need to work on. So, what is the entry point for mushroom production? Well, you order with your import permit some spawn from either your local mushroom producer, or you go to, you order something from the mainland. The spawn will look something like this, like what I've got in my hand right here. If you see my picture in the little window. And this is rye grain that has oyster mushroom mycelium inoculated onto it. It's fully colonized. It's fragrant, it's wonderful. It's not too expensive. Each bag from the mainland costs around $40 for a 5-pound bag delivered. You buy it from me, it's only £10. It's only $10 a bag, but you know, buy local. So what we have here is the bare minimum thing you'll need in order to produce mushrooms. And the easiest entry point for mushroom production is oyster mushrooms. Oyster mushrooms will grow off of anything: straw, sugarcane bagasse, newspaper, toilet paper rolls, grass clippings, palm fronds, pretty much anything, you name it. It'll grow off of industrial waste. If there's an oil spill and they throw straw out into the ocean to soak up all of that oil, oyster mushrooms will grow off of it. Grows off of anything. But for you, the easiest thing to work with, get some straw and pasteurize it. So to pasteurize it, you'll need some cinder blocks, you'll need some propane, you'll need a burner, and a barrel. As farmers or aspiring farmers, you probably got 2 or 3 of these rigs just kind of lying around in your garage. Here, we've got hunky Paul Stamets, circa 1970 something, pulling straw out of a barrel, old-fashioned style. Now, I did this a few times, and it's a pain in the back. So the first thing I ended up doing was I built a gantry so that I could lift straw out of the barrel without having to ruin my back. Old guys like Vincent probably know what it's like to try to implement labor-saving devices once the golden ages of youth have passed us by. So here's the gantry I built. It's beautiful. And here it is with a barrel underneath it. You see how it works? You just lift the straw out. It works great. And that's great for producing oyster mushrooms, like what we saw in the previous photos. But once I started producing oyster mushrooms, I wanted to start producing my own spawn. And in order to do that, you need to have yourself a pressure cooker. Here is a 45-quart All-American pressure cooker from Manitowoc, Wisconsin. Buying from Wisconsin again. I just like Wisconsin stuff. And now I have 6 of them. They're pretty expensive, but the difference between using pasteurization and sterilization is pasteurization kills off like 99% of all the microorganisms that are inside of your substrate, whereas sterilization just wipes it out. 99.99999% of everything's just killed off. So once this cooker is cooked and sealed, like nothing's going to spoil inside. You could bury this thing for 1,000 years and nothing will be growing inside of it, which is perfect because I need absolutely sterile material for my cultures to grow. But I decided to scale up my pasteurization rig and move away from using propane because it's just makes it easier. And so I built a low pressure steamer out of a 55-gallon drum. Runs off electricity. It can hold 25 of my 10-pound bags inside of it at a time every day. And each one of these bags can produce, each one of these bags I can sell for $20, or when we grow and sell on a wholesale level, I make about $10 per bag in income once all of my costs are taken care of. So like that barrel right there Once it's all done and taken care of, each one of those barrels, every time I run it, makes me $250. I have 2 of those barrels. If I want to scale up, which I'm planning to do once I move to a new location, I'll be needing to generate a lot more steam and sterilize a lot more substrate. So here's an improved steam generator. I'll just be modifying a keg with some hot water heater elements, a stainless steel float valve, a drain, and it's just going to plumb steam into a, what do we call it? A tank, a water tank, like what you would use for watering cattle. There's 300-gallon ones that you can purchase at like Dell's or your local Tractor Supply. So the idea is just generate steam, put my bags into a barrel instead of one of these stock tanks, plumb the steam into the tank, and after the allotted amount of time, 12 hours of pasteurization occurs, then I unload the bags and then I inoculate them. But how do you inoculate them? What you need is some sterility. And the entry point to doing sterile work is using a sterile air box, a still air box. Just, you can use like a clear plastic tote. You cut a couple holes inside of it, you spray it around the inside with isopropyl alcohol and Lysol, and it's clean, and you can do pretty much everything, but it's not really, really sterile. A better option is going with a laminar flow hood. Now, a laminar flow hood blows absolutely sterile air. Like, you're not going to catch COVID in front of this thing, but it's way more, they're extremely expensive to purchase. They're really expensive to ship to the islands. So my advice is to build one your own. I built my 2-foot by 4-foot laminar flow hood. Oh, and that's my roommate Bronson right there. He's a big fan of yours, Paul Isaac. Yeah, he's a musician and farmer as well. So anyways, this is a 2-foot by 4-foot laminar flow hood. I put it together for about $500. If I would have purchased it on the mainland, it would have cost closer to about $1,500 plus another $500 to $1,000 shipping. So if you're going to build it, I mean, if you're going to have one, build your own, and it makes a huge difference in lowering your contamination rates. After you have your still air box or laminar flow hood, you want to start collecting your different strains and your species. Right here we have a huge range of different oyster mushrooms, shiitake mushrooms, maitake mushrooms. I keep these cultures on petri dishes to reference out of my library. These are my spawn bags, which I use to inoculate my my substrate bags, and the process works really well. You need an incubator for holding all of your blocks once they're inoculated. I use these Costco carports, and I can fit about 700 blocks into each one of these carports. The shiitake blocks take 12 weeks to incubate, so one of those carports is just filled with shiitake blocks. About 50 come out every week, 50 go in. And one of them is a range of other oyster mushrooms, maitake, lion's mane, other gourmet mushrooms. Here's a picture of me inside of my shiitake incubator. It's kind of a goofy photo. To the left is my lab. To the right is the area where I do all of my substrate prep. And then you need to have your fruiting chamber. Up in Olinda, here on beautiful Maui, at 3,800 feet in elevation, we built a 2,600 square foot greenhouse. It's more of a brown and damp house because there's not really anything green inside of it, where we grow mushrooms. It's pretty big on the inside, and we have a lot of oyster mushrooms being grown. This is oyster mushroom bags that have been grown out with the gray dove oyster mushroom spawn, courtesy of Field and Forest out of Manitowoc, out of Peshtigo, Wisconsin. And here we have Michael Marchand of Lapa'au Farms, my business partner, with spent oyster mushroom blocks. After the oyster mushrooms have been fruited out of the bags, we can sow it into the soil, and it provides a lot of bioremediative and mycorrhizal relationships to the soil, adding carbon to the soil, adding water retention to the soil, discouraging nematode populations, and lots of good stuff. Now let's go through a few company profiles of mushroom-related companies here on Hawaii. Aloha Medicinals, Malama Mushrooms, Hamakua Mushrooms, Small Kind, and my favorite, Lapa'au Farm. So Aloha Medicinals started in 2002 in Haiku in beautiful Maui. They were growing cordyceps. And now they're in Carson City, Carson City, Nevada at 5,000 feet. And they're the largest producer of mushroom products in the US. Here we have Small Kind Farms located in beautiful Waimanalo on Oahu. Neighbor to Paul, our musician friend. And here we see their two products. They sell Keiki portabella and Tutu portabella, little button mushrooms and portobello mushrooms. Here we have Malama mushrooms based on the Big Island, and what they sell is I've got a little bit of their product right here. It's mushroom powders blended with cacao or with chocolate. It's really nice. It's a great quality product, and it's a great example of value-added products that can be generated here on the islands. Unfortunately, Malama Mushrooms purchases all their mushroom extracts from China. So, but in talks with them, we can produce it cost competitively here, so long as we don't have to go through the distribution chain. If I sell directly to them, we can make it cost competitive. So, but we just need to have space and to expand our production capacity in order to meet that need. Here we have Hamakua mushrooms located on the Big Island, and they produce Pleurotus inyergi, or king oyster mushrooms, also known as the Ali'i oyster mushrooms. And from them, I was able to find out on a tour that they produce 5,000 pounds a week, and they send that to all the islands. 500 pounds a week gets sent to Maui, and that's 1/10 of their production. So from that, I was able to figure out that if Maui consumes 1/10 of their total production, then the numbers I got from the Hawaii Department of Agriculture for what was imported to Maui is probably 1/10 of the total amount being imported to all the Hawaiian Islands. Hamakua mushrooms uses the automated bottle production technique, and they have a very energy intensive production because they are located in a hot, damp area. So they have to spend a lot of energy purging humidity out of the air, cooling down the air, or heating up the air, circulating it around, filtering it, and it's very energy intensive, which is why they charge so much for their mushrooms, along with it being local and a higher quality. If you're located at a higher elevation like we are in Olinda for Lapa'au Farms, you're able to produce things for a much cheaper price because you're in the sweet spot, in the Goldilocks zone, where the temperature and humidity are always at the right levels for most gourmet mushroom production. So what are the challenges that we have in producing mushrooms for Hawaii? Well, we are limited by the Hawaii Department of Agriculture in the number of gourmet edible species that are cultivated. In the last 18 years, there's been a dearth, an abundance of new species and new varieties that have been added to other mainland producers' lists of like gourmet, edible, and highly medicinal mushrooms. But the last time that the Hawaii Department of Agriculture had added anything onto their list was 2002. And since then, lots of things have become available to be produced. But so there, I need to approach them about adding some new things onto the list. And of course, there are some species that would be threatening to the environment to add, like parasitic mushrooms, such as Piopino or other Pholiota variety mushrooms. But for example, lion's mane, on the other hand, is highly medicinal, non-parasitic. There are analogs to it growing here on the island, and that could be added to the list. Reishi grows on the islands, but it's not on the approved list. Calicybe indica, or the milky white mushroom, grows in abundance all across all the islands, but it's not on the list. I want to be able to import those species. I want to be able to cultivate those species openly, and I want to be able to sell those to markets. The cost of imported materials is prohibitive, so it'd be nice if we could have our own supply streams here on the islands, but we can still grow with imported materials from the mainland and produce a really, really good profit, as I showed in the previous slides. And another thing is, in order to keep our costs down, it's best to grow the mushrooms in a place where they will thrive. So there's geographical limitations. Oyster mushrooms will grow at a low altitude and high temperatures. Calicybe indica, or the milky white mushrooms, will grow in a high temperature area, but things like shiitake or maitake need cooler climates, which you only really get at higher altitudes, like in Olinda or Kula. So you have to keep that in mind if you're going to consider starting to grow mushrooms.
Charles, I wanted to allow some time for question and answer, but I just wanted to mention that work with me. I'll make sure we get it on the agenda with the Department of Agriculture, and we'll get those species in that you want to bring in. So we'll work on that together, okay?
Vincent, I appreciate you so much.
No, man, I appreciate you. You're doing great work. This is an amazing presentation. I'm sure everybody's riveted, as I am, with what you're sharing here. I wanted to get some question and answers. So you almost, pal?
I've got, I think, like probably 3 more slides, and most of it's just like grandstanding.
Go for it. That's all right. Grandstand.
All right, goals. 1, update the Hawaii Department of Agriculture non-native species import list to include more low-risk and highly marketable mushroom varieties. 2, food sovereignty. Let's get Hawaii to produce all of its own cultivated mushrooms. Let's do it. 3, soil enhancement programs. It has been shown time and time again via different research products that adding spent substrate to the soil prevents nematode populations, encourages other microbial activity, encourages water retention. It's really wonderful, good stuff. So it's a great way to enhance your soil, and also it's a great way for bioremediation, for capturing poisons out of the soil. So we need to start developing programs towards that. My personal goals, once again, there's some self-serving stuff. I want to establish more new locations. I want to move my current location, where I'm kind of like pressed in like a sardine, to a larger space. I want to build more community. There's so much that can be done for mushroom production across different communities. I love leading log inoculation workshops. People can grow mushrooms to share with different medicine practitioners out there. And just like people are, starting to wake up to the benefits of farming and growing your own food and sharing that, I think we can do that with mushrooms. I want to be earning more income. I want to have more freedom. And I think growing mushrooms is the path for me and for many others. The potential is enormous. There's no way that I personally can meet it all. And I would love to see more people doing that. Now, big message: rent me your barn, workshop, or garage space. I need like 400 or 400 square feet of like indoor space, with hopefully about 200 square feet of concrete floors on level ground for gadgetry. I need 100 amps of electrical circuit to support the gadgetry. I need to be able to access it with a truck and trailer so I can move my materials around. I don't need an ocean vista. I'm happy with looking at the back end of your compost pile, or the shack behind your house. That's cool too, but it needs to be at a high elevation space so that my mushrooms will grow and thrive in the Goldilocks zone that Hawaii captures particularly. And I want to stay on Maui if that's an option. I want to give great big thanks to Lapa Owl Farm, Michael Marchand, Lauren Gibson Marchand, Mikey and Vincent and Hillary and Sam and Philip for working with me, for being business partners with me. And if you want to get in contact with me, right down there is my contact info, charles.tresidder@gmail.com, or follow me on Instagram, charmed_Charles at Instagram. And also I want to show you all how easy it is to sign up to become a member for the Hawaii Farmers Union. Watch me click through, and here we've got become a member. I'm just going to click here. Now, unlike voting, you can't like with voting, you shouldn't vote for your dog, you shouldn't vote for a relative, but here you can give it as a gift to your dog. Let's say I'm going to give this to Sparky, the dog. Mina, I'm going to give it to Vincent Mina's dog, Sparky. And see how easy that was? I'm just going to fill out the rest of the information. I click, of course, you know, Ohana membership, $100. Let's support the Ohana, the Hawaii Farmers Union. You want to be funding all the good speakers that are going to be present at the November 13th through 15th Hawaii Farmers Union Convention. Click through, and then I just submit. It's as simple as that, guys. Support your local farmer union, support your local farmers. And with that, I'm going to give it back over to Vincent to host the Q&A.
Hey, Vincent Kimura, I think we found our new membership chair.
I think so. Yeah, checks in the mail. Okay, we've got a couple questions for you, Charles. So Yuri's asking that he has a lot of bagasse, and he had a question about the logs. Do you have to sterilize the logs?
For bagasse, you don't need to sterilize. You can actually just pasteurize it. There was a producer here on Maui called his name is Rocky, and he had a company called Makawao Mushrooms, and he used pasteurized bagasse. And what you need in order to pasteurize, like I had shown before, is just a barrel, some water, and some heat. And things like oyster mushrooms or the milky white mushrooms will grow off of it. Let me just pull up that image again. Here, we'll get Hunky. There we go, Hunky Paul Stamets. Hoo-wee, look at that fella. In his prime. And that's all you really need. And then you inoculate it with your substrate, which you can buy from me, or you can buy from a number of mainland producers, such as Aloha Medicinal sells spawn, Field and Forest out of Peshtigo, Wisconsin sells spawn. There's loads of good spawn providers. Just make sure you get your Hawaii Department of Agriculture non-native species import permit, or you can get it from me, and still you'll need to get your permit.
Got another question for you from Julia. Is shiitake the only one that grows well without a sterilization process? Can she grow in an unsterile sawdust mix?
Actually, oysters and there's loads of mushrooms that grow really well on pasteurized materials. Like shiitake needs to be sterilized, and a few other gourmet varieties do as well, but there's loads of varieties that grow in heavy abundance off of pasteurized material. The milky white mushroom, Calocybe indica, which you can get locally, you can go and pick it up after heavy rains, grows off of straw, really well, pasteurized straw. Oyster mushrooms are a good one as well. Let me pull up a picture of the oyster mushrooms. Let's see, the oyster mushrooms. Here we go. Oyster mushrooms.
That is an amazing bloom. Just an amazing bloom.
We get them all the time, Vincent. You got to come up and check it out. Bring your mask, though.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and then there's a few other mushrooms, such as the patty straw mushroom that goes off of straw, and pasteurized substrates. there's loads of them, but those are the three most economical to grow off of pasteurized material.
Okay, three more questions here. So, question from Jennifer. So when ordering blocks in an island, would they need an additional permitting, or would they be able to just regularly ship or mail it? Does ordering occur through your Lapao Farms website?
You can, so you have to have, through the Hawaii Department of Agriculture, an import permit. You need to. It's, you know, because if you get caught, if your package gets caught and you have a non-native species inside of there and you don't have the included permit, you're facing a fine and possibly serving some time. So you always want to cover your hiney and have the import permit, and actually have the import permit included with the package. So when you send it out either inter-island from me or from the mainland, make sure you disclose, please include the import permit in the shipping. Otherwise, there is a risk. You can have anything sent in. You can have plutonium shipped in. Is it ethical and is it safe? Not really. But if you want to take that risk, go ahead. But it's a risk.
Two more quick questions.
Okay.
Can you grow from ohia logs? Can you grow mushrooms from ohia logs?
Yeah. You can grow from pretty much anything. Like you can grow shiitake mushrooms from ohia logs. You can grow it from eucalyptus. You can grow like mushroom. There, certain strains of different mushrooms grow well off of certain substrates. Like shiitake doesn't grow well off of straw. Oyster mushrooms grow well off of straw. Oyster mushrooms grow great off of palm and off of banana leaves and off of cardboard, off of bagasse. But shiitake grows well off of ohia logs. It grows well off of eucalyptus, off of most hardwood junk trees. So if you search through and you're like, I want to grow this mushroom, and you can look at a list of all the logs and all the woods that it grows off of, you can figure out what grows well off of what. Or you can contact me. I've done a lot of experiments growing things off of other things, but shiitake grows well off of ohia logs. And I think oysters might grow off of it, but I honestly haven't tried.
Okay, three more quick questions, and we got to get back to Paul. What's the #1 most medicinal mushroom against viruses?
Probably reishi. Reishi is known as the longevity mushroom. It grows wild here. It has been shown in many studies to promote immune system growth, but there are, just having one mushroom is great if you have access, but honestly, blends are fantastic. And so I really want to advocate the blends that are available through Malama Mushrooms. They have a blend of reishi, maitake, cordyceps, oyster, lion's mane, chaga, and it's a super immune booster. Or go through Paul Stamets 7. It's got all the immune boosting mushrooms out there, but if I had to pick one, it would be reishi. Grab it, grind it, steep it, drink it, put it in your food, rub it in your skin, any way you can do it.
Okay. Robert's got a question. Do you have to top dress for microbial action? Is it similar to bokashi? He's referring to the spent bags.
Well, you can, if you're trying to actually cultivate the mushrooms, the best way to do it is to just like dress it over the top, just to like, break the substrate up over the top. But you don't get, and the substrate will continue to live. The oyster mushroom will continue to live, and it'll secrete the enzymes into the soil and prevent nematode growth and whatnot. But if you want to get the benefits of like water retention and building the soil, you kind of need to fold it in. I'm not too familiar with bokashi and IMO, and that's more Drake's department, or I wish I had my roommate Bronson here. He's all about it, but I think it serves different things by having it either top dressed or just folded into the soil. If you top dress, the mycelium stays active and it'll secrete enzymes and microbial activity into the soil. But if you actually fold it in, then you add water content, and I think it has more of a direct action on nematodes. But I'm not too up on that. I'm more into production.
Okay, last question. I'm actually going to bridge in two questions here regarding logs. Do you have to sterilize or pasteurize the logs? First part of it, and then do you sell plugs for inoculating those logs?
You do not need to sterilize logs. You just need to, as soon as they're cut down, like within a few days, you want to inoculate them. The longer you wait, the more other stuff moves in, the more contaminants, funguses, bacteria that are in the environment will move in and start to take over that. And then you'll have contamination, and then all of your hard work of inoculation will go by. So within a week, you want to inoculate. But if you wait longer than that, you can sterilize. That'll work well. That'll give you more time. But it's a real pain in the keister. Just use fresh logs. We got trees everywhere. Use fresh logs. And I do sell sawdust spawn. I can produce plugs, but I haven't for a long time. I would really advocate, if you want to buy plugs, go to Field and Forest in Peshtigo, Wisconsin. They're the only ones that I know that produces reliable, high quality wood dowels for inoculation. But for sawdust, I would be happy to supply someone if they want to buy from me, as long as you have your Hawaii Department of Agriculture import permit.
Charles, thank you so much, brother. That was an amazing presentation. Really learned a lot tonight. I wanted to also point out that, Maui Aloha Aina, between 2001 and 2013, my wife and I produced 12 body and soil conferences. And from 2005 to 2011, it was held up on that farm. And it's really nice to see. That was Kumalani, that was Steve Wilson's farm. Sam Bessel's the owner of the farm. We had amazing conferences up there. I don't know if anybody on this call was part of those conferences, but it's so wonderful to see that you folks are now, evolving that farm forward. And it's a beautiful thing. And so maybe Sam will want to hold a farm convention up there one of these days again to revisit our body and soil days. But thank you so much, Charles. Again, wonderful presentation, brother. It was perfect for tonight. So thank you so much. And I wanted to, Vincent and Drake, do you guys want to take a minute before we get Paul back on here to talk about the Heroes Project?
Sure. Charles, can you stop sharing your screen, please?
Oh, sure.
Love you,
So for everyone, we're launching a new program which has been kind of in the works for quite some time now, and this is something that really pertains to the culture of supporting local farming. So Drake actually came up with this idea of the HFUU Heroes, which he can chat about quickly, but as it pertains to what's relevant to all of us is we're taking a lot of these stories, and if you've been tuning into Mark Damon and even Charles, et cetera, we want to share these stories as if, others would be interested in replicating it, but obviously learning more about where they've come and where they're going. So the Heroes Project is really the culmination of all of these stories throughout the Hawaii farming ecosystem, bringing in other subject matter experts from around the nation, et cetera, and then sharing that at our convention for all of us to kind of experience and learn. Drake, do you have anything to add?
Yeah, well, if I can just share a little bit of my inspiration for this. I was at strategic planning, and just every time I go to the convention or anytime I gather with the folks from the union, I'm just, inspired and uplifted, and I feel this, like, my cup is full, and Vincent always says, like, we're up here and then you'll go back to the trenches, and you go back to your real life. But what I think is one of the real assets of what we have as a union is all of us within the union of what we're doing. Like here's Paul, like, playing this amazing music, but he's also has a whole Yoganics thing and a whole farm going on. You know, every single person that I know that's in the union is what I consider a hero. And I feel like we kind of need to like toot our own horn a little bit and be like, boop, boop. You know, but not to be like, we're great, but to share these solutions as we've been cultivating these and actually putting them into practical use. You know, I mean, here on my farm, I'm making a living farming, and now we're in a new paradigm where folks are looking to make a living farming, because food growing right in your house and in around you is what makes us a great union and strong and, you know, strength between us. And so what I want to do with the Heroes Project is just show those people doing that, capture that story and bring that inspiration out to our membership, but just everyone that engages with us. And, you know, because there are so many heroes within our organization, and, you know, to feature that in our convention is going to be awesome, because, you know, now we're online and, you know, connecting with you this way. Hey, so just, yeah, thank you. And I hope you can support this project, and look forward to really putting a face to the people. You know, it's, here I am, and like most people's cameras are off, but I swear if you turn them on and we all like dance with Paul this last session, it'll be a lot of fun. So looking forward to seeing you all. Aloha.
Wonderful, Drake. Thank you, man. And just to clarify that statement, you know, it's really an important statement that right now we come up into the clouds together, and then we go back into our trenches of our day-to-day, but we kiss the walls of the trench with that inspiration we get from experiences like this. So thank you, Drake, for referencing that. And Paul,
what's up,
take it away, brother.
Oh, so inspiring. Let's see, unmute myself. Yes, couldn't agree more, Drake. Yeah, I feel like there are so many amazing individuals who are, you know, heroes in our communities and how we show up for each other and for the food movement. So yeah, definitely, I already feel it just tapping online here. And big mahalo, Charles. That was a beautiful immersion into the mycelium world. I already love mycelium, but I love your, you know, the passion that you speak with. And yeah, I'm very blessed to have Small Kind Farms right down the road. Sometimes I'll get 10-pound boxes, and I've been getting his SMS for almost a decade, and I use that, the spent mushroom substrate, all over the farm. I love soil amending with that, and as well as with what we have. So yes, friends, got some more music for you. And this song I wanted to play is called Creators, and it says we are not consumers, and of course we need to consume things to survive, but it's more about the mindset, the consumer-based mindset, and inspiring ourselves to get out of that mindset a little bit more, to find and create the realities that we want to see, support what we want to see, put that, you know, that dollar towards a farmer who's growing something that we believe in. So I think it's really about more awareness about where everything's going. So this one's Creators.
We are not consumers, we are creators, breath takers and energy makers. We are not consumers, we are creators, breath takers and energy makers. We are not consumers, we are creators, breath takers and energy makers. We are not consumers, we are creators, breath takers and energy makers. Yes, yeah, oh yeah, oh yes, yeah, oh yeah. You can't patent life, no way. Mama Nature has the rights to the simple purity. Can't you see? You can't patent life, no way. Mama Nature has the rights to the simple purity. Can't you see? This is a remembrance, a part of the human experience. Feel, be real, and nobody steal our voice, a right or a choice. To be curious and ask questions, confident making decisions that affect our future. Cause we thrive as a culture when we support innovations focused on renewable energy. Regenerative farming along our harm in our environment changes the inevitable. Something as simple as growing a vegetable makes us a true rebel. One less person in the corporate consumer mentality, taking the steps to create our own reality. Just as Gandhi sat at the spinning wheel, he knew to truly deal with conflict. We gotta get back to the simple things and the joy it brings. Peace to the movement, let love flow through it. Said, gotta trust the power in our own hands. As creators, being conscious with our actions. Spinning wheel spin, getting again. Simple life always lets you know. Hey, spinning wheel spins, again and again. Simple life always lets you know. 1, 2, 3, 4. We are not consumers, we are creators. Breath takers and energy makers. We are not consumers, we are creators. Breath takers and energy makers. We are not consumers, we are creators. Breath takers and energy makers. We are not consumers, we are creators. Breath takers and energy makers. Yes, yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yes, yeah. Oh yeah. But you can't patent life. No way. Mama Nature has the right to the simple purity. Can't you see? You can't patent life. No way. Mama Nature has the rights to the simple purity. Can't you see? I choose not to eat processed foods that's been sprayed with the pesticides made by companies that got a lot to hide, putting farms out of business because they got the patent on the seed, but the greed will never feed us. Now wait, I say we gotta get back to the roots, to the natural way. So I will build a garden to show my respect to the miracles of life, the cycles of death. I will do my best to appreciate every breath that I take, as it fills me with the energy to create an even better way every day where we stay. Yeah, we stay in the present state. We can remediate all of the greed and hate and feed the nation through organic creation. Spinning wheels spin, getting again. Simple life always let you know. Yeah, spinning wheels spin, again and again. Simple life always let you know. 1, 2, 3, 4. Through our diversity we will find unity. Yeah, through our diversity we will find unity. And through our diversity we will find unity. Unified worldwide. And through our diversity we will find unity. And that's because we are not consumers, we are creators. Breath takers and energy makers. We are not consumers, we are creators. Breath takers and energy makers. We are not consumers, we are creators. Breath takers and energy makers. We are not consumers, we are creators. Breath takers and energy makers. Yes, yeah.
Hana ho, one more?
Yeah, baby. One more, please,
One
Paul.
more.
Good
Thank you,
job.
Paul.
Woo, yes, let's inspire that creative energy within ourselves. So grateful to have the Hawaii Farmers Union united. I feel that within us all. We're all united in a certain mission for ourselves and our communities and our families. But I wanted to play La'au Lapa'au because I love.
Oh, nice call, Yuri.
What was that?
Do you see that? Yuri put up that call.
Oh no, I didn't see it. Yeah, you know, La'au Lapa'au, the plant medicine. I love Lapa'au farms, you know, I can't wait to visit that farm. But I wanted to play this song because it's like the ancient wisdom that comes from things like mycelium. When I saw fantastic fungi and they said we're descendants of mycelium, I was like, yes! So it's like the power of these microbial energies and how far back it links us, you know. So it makes you feel so small but so expansive and huge at the same time. I love it. So this one's La'au Lapa'au, and this song was written for Kumu Lavan Ohai, who taught here at University of Hawaii. I had the great honor to be in his class for just 6 months and absorbed as much as I could. And when he left his body, this song came through to honor his works.
absence of foolishness. It comes with each experience. Yeah, wisdom, yes, is the absence of foolishness. It comes with each experience. Hey, ancient wisdom. Hey, ancient wisdom. Ancient wisdom passed down from generation. Hey, a warm mahalo to the late Kumu Ohai. Your knowledge and your wisdom will surely never die. He said, you want to learn, then I will teach you how to use the ancient wisdom of La'au Lapa'au. A healer's companion is the herbs, yeah. So you must become Ma'awiti. It's always up to you. Just remember one thing, Akua always guide you through. A simple mixture and you will see. It's half your spirit, half the plant energy. Hey, la'au, lapa'au, yes, yeah. Hawaiian plant medicine, yeah. La'au, lapa'au, hey. It's time we teach our children this, yes. Ancient wisdom. Ancient wisdom, ancient wisdom, passed down from generation. Hey, Wakumu Ohai, he came up to a friend and I, smiles and embrace, looked us straight in the face. He said, last night a Kua came to me and told me that these are peaceful warriors I see. You will have strength in everything you do. Just keep an open heart and always stay true. Don't cloud your thoughts, don't you cloud your mind. Observe the signs and pull it all the time. Put your hands in the land, spirit will grow stronger. And just remember, a Kua takes you higher. La'au, lapa'au, yes, yeah. Hawaiian plant medicine, yeah. La'au, lapa'au, oh. It's time we teach our children this, yes. Ancient wisdom. Ancient wisdom. Ancient wisdom. Passed down from generation. Hey, I use laukai to mend my wounds. I use the comfrey to mend my bones. I use the knee oil to circulate my blood. And Olena to keep the inflammation down. I use Kalika to radiate the mana. And Avapuhi for sickness and for flu. I'm telling you, herbs are our friends, yeah. It's time we practice conscious medicine. I'm telling you, herbs are our friends, yeah. It's time we practice conscious medicine. Hey, la'au, lapa'au, oh, oh. Hawaiian plant medicine, yes, la'au, lapa'au, hey. It's time we teach our children this la'au, lapa'au, yes, yeah. Hawaiian plant medicine, yes, la'au, lapa'au, oh. It's time we teach our children this, yes, ancient wisdom. Hey, ancient wisdom. Ancient wisdom. Here we go. Passed down from generation. Woo, that's what we gotta do, friends. Keep passing down the wisdom. We all hold our unique wisdom in that. Well,
Woo, Paulie.
yeah, appreciate you guys asking.
Awesome, brother.
Yeah, love seeing your faces, love hearing what's happening out there, and love hearing about mycelium this week. So mahalo, Charles. Mahalo to both Vincents for setting the foundation for this. Gee.
Well, Paul, you know, you are a prince among Ma'iai, brother, and really appreciate what you and Kelly do out there. And, you know, Vincent's your president of the chapter out there, so you guys rock it in Waimanalo. We really look forward to your meetings and gatherings once this pandemic's over. You know, we got Drake doing the Muppet scene here, and everybody's inspired by tonight. Love it. So thank you, everybody. Thank you for being on this call. Remember, August 19th, we're going to have another provocative night, the music of Micah Nelson and the presentation of Woody Myers from Holland. And that should be a wonderful presentation too. So tonight is a launching pad for presentations just like we experienced tonight. So thank you, everybody. Thank you, Vincent Kimura. Thank you, Drake Weiner. You folks take care. And God bless HFUU, baby. Aloha.
Right. Love and aloha. Aloha.